chickens now.
Very exciting.
I've spent probably the last 3 weeks pretty intensely building a chicken coop and a chicken run out of all of the scrap wood that we've had in our shed for the past 2 years. So I gotta tell you, I really felt, I think, more of a kinship to Geppetto in this movie than I think I deserve. Like, I too have made something out of wood with my hands.
We are not so different, you and I.
You and I, we're the same.
Good, that's going to be a fun energy to start with. Welcome to Direct to Video VHS?
VHS.
A podcast where we pair movies like fine wine. This is another movie that came pre-paired because I've seen this movie twice now.
Yeah.
This is the second time I've seen this movie, but the first time I watched it a couple of weeks after watching Disney's Pinocchio, and it turns out that everything in this movie is just a reference to specifically Disney's Pinocchio.
Isn't that crazy? How apparently Guillermo del Toro loves the original cartoon, the original Disney's Pinocchio, which I can clearly see.
Oh yeah. But the first time I watched it, I hadn't seen Pinocchio since I was a kid, and I was just like, there's a lot of stuff happening, and I remember, I get the references, but I didn't get that it's essentially one-to-one. He's going to a lot of trouble to make plot beats that they're not the same plot beats. They're very different plot beats in some cases, but they happen at the same time. The pacing's the same.
Yeah. If you cut out the initial 30 minutes of the movie, right? Which is all about Carlo.
Mm.
The last hour and a half is just beat for beat Walt Disney's Pinocchio, but with Guillermo del Toro's sick and twisted spin on it.
He's got that South Park humor.
Right. This is my first time watching it. I know you. I remember you telling me that you had seen it before, and I think you mentioned that it didn't quite hit for you. That you thought it was.
It hit a lot better this time. It hit a lot better this time. I think because I just watched Pinocchio.
So not only did I just watch Disney's Pinocchio, I also reread all of K.C. Green's Pinocchio adaptation, Carlo Collodi's Pinocchio.
Oh, okay.
And it's so in there. I didn't expect, having done that, for this movie to make me cry.
It sure does, though, doesn't it?
But it sure fucking does. Holy shit.
My first impression of this movie, when I first watched it, was this is not a movie I necessarily, enjoyed, hit me on, a spiritual level. But it was one of those movies where, I'm kind of glad I saw it. It's an art piece that I really appreciate. But the second time around, I was like, I'm entertained by this movie, and hell yeah, it made me sad for sure.
Dude, it's so funny. The only thing about the movie that I think doesn't work for me is I think the music's kind of bad.
You mean the songs?
Yeah. I mean the musical numbers.
The musical numbers. I can see that. I feel like they're going for a specific vibe that is, again,
they're going for
hitting for me.
They're going for because the movie is set in such a specific time. And
Fascist Italy.
This is the thing I love about Guillermo del Toro. Is Guillermo del Toro's if you're going to be setting a movie in a place and time, if you're going to be making a period piece, why not just set it? Piece. Right? Why not just set it during fascist? I don't know. Throw a dart. Right?
Fascist somewhere for sure.
Somewhere for sure. Because he did this with fucking Pan's Labyrinth, right? Which is set during the Spanish the Spanish fascist Spain.
Mm-hmm. Although I assume, besides the fact that Guillermo del Toro does like setting stuff during fascist times to highlight that stuff with fantastical elements. I mean, I assume part of the thought process was like Disney's Pinocchio came out in the 40s. We talked about how apparently the voice actor for Geppetto was pro-Hitler, which is fucking crazy. Again, just to be working at Disney.
Right. And vocally, openly, like, it caused problems.
And so the idea that, like, okay, but if this movie was set in modern Italy when they made it, what would it look like? Well, potentially it looked like this, you know. I could see that. That's it's an interesting idea that I think he does well on.
I think because he's very openly said in interviews and stuff that he thinks that movies shouldn't be afraid, or people who are writing stories and stuff, that you shouldn't be afraid of setting them in these times, even if it's not about that, right? Like, I think that's one of the things about kind of, like, I mean, you can watch, like, 5,000,001 video essays about how, you know, Pan's Labyrinth is about fascism. It really isn't. It takes place during a fascist time, right? And that's important to the plot and how the narrative of the story works out. Similarly, in his Pinocchio, he really sets it during that, like, rise of Mussolini era in a way that's like, you could read this as like a movie about fascism, but it's not. He's doing it because he's like, oh, this is like a moment in time where people's, like, flaws and also their, like, what's the opposite of a flaw? A virtue? Their virtues are, like, thrown into relief because it's such a weird and, like, frightening period that these people are living in.
Well, and both of those movies, I feel like, at least one of the core concepts of it is, like, a good parent versus a bad parent. Like, what does that look like? Right. And I feel like being a bad parent is so much easier and more obvious when you're in a fascist regime.
Right.
You're like, okay, I know what a bad parent looks like. It looks like this asshole.
It looks like this fucking guy. You know, Ron Perlman is a nice guy, I'm sure. I've heard that people really like Ron Perlman, but god damn it if he doesn't have one of the, like, most evil voices. The moment this guy opens his mouth, you're like, oh, this guy sucks. Oh, I see what's happening here. This guy sucks.
I feel like he was a fun character in Pacific Rim. I'm trying to remember.
He was a fun character in Pacific Rim. I mean, he was Hellboy, right? Like, he's played good guys.
This is true. Well, okay, but the point of Hellboy is that he's supposed to look like a bad guy.
He looks like a bad guy.
He looks and sounds like a bad guy.
Right. But, you know, he's, you know, the voice of Slade in Teen Titans. Like, you know, he's got the voice for, like, when he talks, you're like, oh, like, you don't fuck with this guy. And obviously he plays the I don't know what to call him.
I feel like
the Gestapo, Italian Gestapo.
Yeah, they gave him, like, a title, like, super quick and then never say it again. And it's not clear to me, like, how high up in the government or low down in the government he is. Because he has at least a little bit of face-to-face time with Mussolini.
Right. So, okay, I feel like we're kind of all over the place.
Yeah, why don't we begin at the beginning?
So, Ewan McGregor is this fucking cricket. I love this cricket. I feel like I hate Jiminy Cricket, the Disney character. Like, he sucks.
I mean, I don't hate him. He does suck.
All right, let me rephrase that. I don't think Jiminy Cricket did his job. I don't think he should get credit for doing his job.
Yes, fair. He does get Pinocchio out of Pleasure Island. I want to give credit where it's due. Pinocchio probably would have died on Pleasure Island.
Well, he would have turned into a donkey, which, you know, would have proven that he's a real boy.
Fate worse than death.
Right. How do you feel about this iteration of the cricket?
He is so charming.
Well, yeah. And he's trying to write his memoirs.
He is delightful. The Sebastian J. Cricket, presumably the J stands for Jiminy, but I don't think they can say it.
Yeah, they can't say it.
Is an interesting guy because I do think genuinely has led an interesting life. We get some clues to the fact that he has genuinely led an interesting life.
Right.
But he's like he's one of those classic, like, self-absorbed writers. He thinks it's really important to literally just write about himself because he's the most important person ever.
Yeah, I'm the most interesting cricket that I know.
He has spent years trying to just find a place to write his memoir. And he ends up in this tree. Right. And right. He's fun because he's, like, so self-obsessed. But then, frankly, unlike the original Jiminy Cricket, when he is given this job to look after Pinocchio, they never say Conscience, to look after Pinocchio, he really does lock in as well as he can. I feel like he tries to guide Pinocchio when he can. He tries to help Geppetto when he can. He's in here. He's doing the work.
He's ride or die for these two, like for Geppetto and Pinocchio specifically.
And he has my favorite line near the end of the movie. I'll make sure to highlight it when we get there. He finds this tree. And he's like, time to finally write my memoirs. And then gets distracted by this sad old drunk. And he's
drunk, sad old man.
Yep.
Starts. So I kind of don't want to get into, like, the first 30 minutes of the movie because it kind of, on the one hand, it kind of doesn't matter. Like, you don't need it for this story to work. I'm glad that it's there because I do think it's like, I mean, just, watching this kid get absolutely fucked by a bomb.
Not good.
It is not good, but I do think the movie works without it. But yeah, basically Geppetto has become, like, just the worst kind of guy you can live in a small town with.
Yeah, so he lost his son during an aerial bombardment at the church where he had been building the crucifix. And now he's just a drunk about it. And I understand that. He doesn't seem to have a support system at all. Even when Carlo was still around, it doesn't seem like he had a support system. Like, the townspeople liked him.
They like him.
But they didn't, like, rally around him.
At one point, when he's going to work, some fucking guy just looks at his wife and goes, "He's the perfect Italian.
He's the perfect Italian." Yeah, and there's a guy who gives Carlo a pear or something. So, like, they like him, but they're not
then
his
his son dies, and they're like, "Ugh." Well, I don't know about all that.
So, poor Carlo gets bombed. There's this thing between Geppetto and Carlo where when Geppetto cuts down a tree, he always plants another one, which is good.
Right.
And Carlo, he gave Carlo a little quest to find, like, the perfect pine cone to plant a tree. And Carlo has this pine cone with him when he dies. And Geppetto plants that pine cone on Carlo's grave.
Yeah, or, like, right behind it. It's right behind it.
Like, right behind it. So, 10 years later... No, it can't be that. I guess we don't know how much time has passed.
It's definitely, like, a decade.
It's like a significant amount of time.
Because we're going from, like, World War I to, like, the interwar period.
Yes.
That's a decade.
You're right. We're, like, starting World War II. We're, like, really close. We're, like, a year or two in front of World War II. Maybe they're sending troops off already? It's not clear. Definitely Italy is going very warlike, though. That's the...
Yeah, it's not a good time.
And Geppetto is so drunk out of his mind and so sad about Carlo and just bellowing about it to the fucking world
heavens.
In general.
Just, God, fate, the future, anyone who will listen.
And apparently somebody will listen, but we'll get to that. that he's like, no, I'm gonna make Carlo, and so he cuts down Carlo's tree, which Sebastian is not a fan of.
He's like, whoa, what the fuck, dude?
This whole thing is kind of shot like a horror movie because you kind of see it from Sebastian's point of view. He's just like a little guy that all this stuff is happening to.
I love this because I know, because I have future vision. I have it's a lot like WandaVision, but better.
WandaVision was fine. It spawned off a very bad movie, is my understanding.
Dude, that movie sucks so bad, but I'm not here to talk about that.
Sorry.
I have future vision, and I can tell you that the next movie he makes after this is fucking Frankenstein.
Because he did a Frankenstein.
Because he fucking did. And I'm watching this and I'm like, man, he really had it on the brain. Like the guy is like, I mean, to be fair, I cannot wait to watch it. I'm gonna watch it at some point in the next month, probably. But like, it's so funny to watch this and know, oh, I know what the next movie you're working on is.
It's funny because the motivations of Victor Frankenstein are much closer to his motivation in the book, which is, I'm a pretentious asshole who wants to cure death, and much less I must because of my pain.
Right. Because of because of my drunken rage at my fate. Which, I mean, like, so Pinocchio, the movie, this movie's been in production, I think, since 2012.
Okay.
Because he started working on it.
It takes a long time to make this kind of movie.
Well, it does. It doesn't take this long. Like, I gotta tell you, it doesn't take 10 years. I believe he started working on it at the same time he started working on fucking, like, the Hobbit. And those movies came out fine, even though he left them.
We don't need to talk about whether or not we think they came out fine. Let's keep moving.
Well, they released on time. They released on time. And this movie released in 2022, a full decade. But a big part of that is because, he kept, rewriting it and trying to get the tone right. And at some point he met an artist. He met this artist. I'm trying to get his name because he's credited in the film as a producer. Gris Grimley.
It's a good name.
Now there are, Gris Grimley, who it's a pen name.
Well, I mean, if you gotta pick a name.
Did an illustrated Pinocchio, like Carlo Collodi's Pinocchio. He did an illustrated version of the book, where he drew Pinocchio looking kind of like this, like raw wood. And
that is so weird, but okay. Because I understood it in this version where it's like the point is that Pinocchio is unfinished, but I always understood Pinocchio to be a finished product.
Same. Well, so Guillermo del Toro read this version of the book and was like, this is it. This is what I want to make. And gets in touch with him, tells him I want to make a movie specifically based on your illustrations. There are a bunch of people out there who are like, Guillermo del Toro stole Gris Grimley's illustrations. He did not. He
paid for them.
Guillermo del Toro is the kind of guy who, if he finds you, he's paying you to use your work. And then he'll pay you to put an original art piece in his house, have you seen his house? Guillermo del Toro lives in what I can only describe as goth artist Sally, where it's full of concept art of his own movies.
He knows what he likes. That's why he makes them.
He knows what he likes. So he calls him and he's like, why did you draw him like this? and Gris Grimley's like, oh, because he was drunk when he made him, which is not in the original story as far as I know.
I was gonna say, yeah.
And I think that's where I think
that's where it worked. That's where it clicked.
Right. That's where it clicked. And I think at that point the movie started really being in production. And I think they spent most of that decade just doing character design work and shipping them off to like different puppet companies to make the actual, because it's a stop motion movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of the characters in this movie are like handmade by either Shadow Machine, Jim Henson Company, or Double Dare You, which is like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So all of that to say, this drunk motherfucker like absolutely fucks up making a wooden version of his son. Like he does not nail it.
He is planning on finishing it in the morning. Okay, he makes this puppet and is like, "I will finish you in the morning." This is specifically, he's gonna do more.
Okay, yes. What are all the nails in his back?
I did keep noticing the nails. I assumed he was gonna wake up, be like, "Fuck with these nails," and take them out and added some resin or something.
Right. Just like, man, I really fucked this up. Maybe I start from scratch.
Yes, he very violently is creating this boy, but he is so in the bottle that he can't even stay awake. He tries to go up to his room and falls down a ladder in a way that was done so well that I knew immediately that he was fine.
Yeah.
Like, that definitely would have hurt, but he's okay.
It felt like one of those old black and white movies, like a real, like one of those, you know?
And he just
Charlie
passes
Chaplin.
out. Yes.
Passes out.
And he just passes out. And, I forget what they call it. Do they call it a fairy? In the Wikipedia thing, it says wood sprite, but I don't know that that is accurate.
It says wood sprite in the credits. I would say this is a biblical angel.
So wood sprite really is a phrase that seems to minimize what this character is, because it also appears to be the sister of something that might be the god of death.
I think the way that it works in the film is that they are life and death.
They are life and death.
She is literally life in the same way that her sister is literally death.
So, it first shows up as these, like, floating eyeball things are just looking around, and Sebastian's like, "Get the fuck away from my house!" And it's like trying to swat him away, which is unhinged behavior, but, like, this is why I love Sebastian.
It's the most, like, I wouldn't act this way, but you have every right to. You've had a pretty rough night. This is, if I moved into my house and all this happened, I'd also be pissed.
And when the wood sprite, or when the blue fairy shows up...
The blue fairy, yeah.
Is blue, it has a mask, so its lips doesn't move when it talks. And it is, I want to say, 6 wings, covered in eyeballs, which I'm trying to remember if that's the description of a seraphim, 6-winged, many-eyed.
Yes. Correct.
So, like, you immediately know this is, not only is this a strange magical creature, this is something, like, godlike. Like, this is something divine. This is otherworldly in, like, a specific way. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this fairy, except to say that I, like, love it, because it's so alien and weird that I could imagine this thing bringing a puppet to life and being like, did it.
Did it. Hey, nailed it.
The fairy I think it was the weakest part in Disney's Pinocchio. The fairy in it is so weird because she's just a lady who keeps on tacking on fucking rules to this wish.
All right, in the Disney film, Geppetto doesn't know his head from his ass when it comes to, like, this cricket or this fucking fairy, right?
Right.
But in this movie, Geppetto very quickly is like, there's a talking cricket. He's on my side. We're going to work together to figure this out eventually.
For a little while, I wasn't sure if he knew that the cricket talked, because in the next scene, the cricket talks to him, and his reaction is, it's filled with cockroaches. And I was like, okay.
You're filled with that is such a funny reaction to that.
The fairy gives Sebastian's like, you can't fucking turn my house into a boy. And she's like, well, this is happening either way, so perhaps you could guide him. And he says something like, I'm not a nursemaid, which is great.
Yeah. He's like, absolutely not. What does he say? He says, I'm more of a raconteur.
Yes.
Which I believe is just a scam artist. Isn't that what that means?
That's a good question. I don't use that word. A raconteur.
I don't use that.
Is a person who excels in telling anecdotes. So I think it can be used negatively, which is like, the guy from Music Man. It's probably kind of a raconteur, but also Sebastian's 1,000% a raconteur. He just tells stories.
Right. He's a yarn spinner.
Yes. So he's like, no, that ain't me. And she's like, I will grant you a wish if you excel in guiding this kid. He's like, okay, fine. That's fine. And the fucking much better than Jiminy Cricket, he's like,
not even excel.
Goes in for it, Yeah.
He doesn't even have to excel. The only caveat is if he's a good boy.
If he is a good boy, yes.
You don't even have to be great. He doesn't have to be a great boy. He just has to be good.
And I hate to jump around like this, but I do want to mention it so I don't forget it. Because at the very end, when he cashes in his wish, the fairy asks him if he did his job, and he's like, well, I mean, I fucked up, okay?
I got eaten by a whale. Who plans for this?
It didn't work out great, but the kid is good.
Right. Like, the end result is what we wanted. I love the ending of this movie, by the way. The ending of this movie is so strong. In the Disney film, I think this is just how it has to be.
Well, this is what I was saying, though. I think that every part of this is specifically made to fix a problem that Guillermo del Toro and also I had with the original movie.
Yeah, because
I was like, I hate this fairy, and he's like, don't even worry about it. The fairy is some sort of weird goddess now. You can't hate her. She's too weird. And I was like, you know what? I can't hate her. She's too weird.
Her morality structure is so unlike ours.
Yeah.
At the end of the Disney flick, right, when the camera cuts to Pinocchio lying face down in that pond, it's so funny. My first reaction is to laugh because it's so funny. Like, there's no way this fucking puppet's dead. Don't even try to fool me with that shit. He's fine. But then it turns out he is dead.
The puppet is dead. He's cold dead.
How? He's a fucking puppet. And in this movie, not only is at the end of the movie, not only is this puppet fucking dead, we know exactly why. We know why,
and we've already established that he can die, which is huge. I think that the whole life and death arc is specifically because of that one scene in Pinocchio, where he was like, this scene makes no sense, because he's a puppet who can't die. And so he's like, what if the puppet can die? And we show him dying. So, Pinocchio is specifically, the wording is that he will rise with the sun.
Correct.
Which is interesting because it maybe means that this fairy is specifically, like, has something to do with light. When the other fairy has darkness. Like, maybe she can only bring something to life with the sun. It's just kind of neat. But it also means that, unlike in the Disney film, he's not running around, he doesn't wake his father up immediately. The next scene happens in the morning. I
love that. He's learning how to walk.
Mm-hmm.
But also, absolutely the most horrifying way possible.
I have seen people say that they don't like this movie. They can't vibe with this movie because Pinocchio is too creepy. And I'm here to tell you they're fucking wrong. That's why this movie rocks.
That's why it rips ass.
Pinocchio being creepy is a feature, not a bug.
Because here's the thing, right?
Sebastian's a bug.
Correct.
Sorry.
If you can learn to love this freakish little piece of shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the point. That's doesn't
all of
matter.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't matter what he looks like. It doesn't matter that he moves like that. Right? It's that he is still worthy of being loved. He is still a child.
He's a good boy. Kind of, sometimes.
Eventually. Very eventually. So this little thing comes crawling at him like, you're my papa, I'm your boy.
Yeah.
And he's like,
no.
Fuck that. Fuck this. Absolutely not. But the
thing that really works about it, I think, is because of Geppetto has his backstory. His immediate reaction is, you're not my son. Because he has a son.
Yeah, correct. He eventually locks Pinocchio up in a cupboard and goes to church.
I know that you don't like the music, but we got to talk about this song because I actually think that this. I actually think that this is the moment that Geppetto gets won over by Pinocchio.
Right.
Because he sings a song called
Everything is New to Me.
Yeah, and he has a repeating line that's like, what is it? Is it? And he grabs a thing. What do you do with it? And Geppetto, during this, makes some really poor decisions. He's hungover, and this is a weird moment. But when Pinocchio grabs a hammer and asks what you do with it, he's like, how do you smash things with it? And Geppetto's like smashing everything. And he's like, I love it. And he loves everything. He's very excited about everything. He wants to learn about everything. And this is very overwhelming for Geppetto, and he shoves him in a cupboard. But also, I think that this is when he realizes, like, this is a kid. Like, when he stops, like, scuttling around like a little weirdo and is just like, what is this? What can I do with it? Oh, I love it. That's when he's like, okay, well, this is a child. But he doesn't have the bandwidth to fucking deal with this right now, because the church bells are ringing.
Multiple times in the movie, I think he says to Pinocchio, I don't have the energy to explain this to you right now. And that is the most, the number of times my parents told that to me, but also the number of times I just hear parents say that out and about. It's like, that's the most real thing any parent has ever felt.
I think I'm going to Sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think if I'm going to give Geppetto a big benefit of the doubt here, if he had 1 to 2 normal fucking days before all the shit popped off in this movie, I think he and Pinocchio, I think everything would have been great. Okay, because the next day he has like a normal morning with him, and it goes pretty good. Like, way better than you expect it to.
Yeah, there's an amount of normalcy a little bit when they're like, they work together a little bit in the morning.
Mm-hmm. But for now he goes out to church, which... This is another thing where I kind of expected. There's a big issue here. It's not as big as you think it is. It's like
right.
When this little freaky golem walks into the church and everybody freaks out, they don't freak out to the extent that you think they might. And the bit that I really enjoy is the priest yells at Geppetto, why did you build this instead of the Christ figure?
This has been sitting unfinished for a decade, and you built this? And you know what? That's fair. I'd be mad too.
It is fair.
You know this guy got paid in advance. It's not his fault that his son died.
Cause like, you get the impression that it's like, the townspeople knew Geppetto had stopped working because, like, everything's terrible. But apparently it was working on something, and it was just
Right.
this little freak.
This little freaking thing. I believe the voiceover when after Carlo's death is that he didn't work at all, and he ate even less. I think is what they say. So like I do think there is an amount of like the reason why nobody's freaking out as much is they're like, well, Geppetto's gone through so much. That being said, when Geppetto eventually wheels Pinocchio out of the church, somebody does throw a Bible at him, which is like, you can't be doing
rude.
that.
It's fully rude. But like I expected a longer term negative reaction to Pinocchio that does not come.
Well,
and
because
in fact, Geppetto, he takes Pinocchio home.
He doesn't get 2 seconds to think about this.
Yes.
Because immediately the priest and like little daddy Gestapo show up with little boy Gestapo,
who is Candlewick, who's Candlewick from
from Pinocchio, from the Adventures of Pinocchio,
from Pleasure Island. Candlewick from Pleasure Island. He's introduced a lot earlier, and Pleasure Island is at least as bad in this movie.
Hey, I gotta tell you, man, it sucks just as much. And if you know in your head, right, this is the part of the story where we take little boys to get turned into jackasses.
Yeah.
And then what it is these little boys getting taken to fucking Nazi youth camp. Yeah. You're like, oh shit, Del Toro. Oh shit.
I get what we're doing.
I see what you're doing here.
It's one of the bits that really works best as a rhyme to the original, as like a riff on the original. But they're here, and this Gestapo weirdo who seems to be pretty big in town. And again, it's not clear how high up he is, but there's a sort of idea that like this guy can make you disappear, right? Like
right. Yeah, this guy has enough sway that he could ruin your life.
But he comes in and he wants to talk about the puppet because he does not like how uncontrolled he is. This guy's a fascist. He likes order, but also he is interested in the puppet because it's a living puppet in a sort of, I don't know if he's doing this on purpose, but sort of classic Nazi mysticism fashion of like, maybe this weird magic thing can help us in the coming war.
We all know the war is coming.
We all know the war is coming because we're all working very hard to make it happen. That's how wars happen, ladies and gentlemen.
This fucking guy shows up and he's like, well, you have to educate him if he's going to be a good Italian citizen, like my son.
This is one of my favorite parts of the movie because I complained about it very loudly in the last episode. Why the fuck does he send his kid off to school? And he sent his kid off to school because this fucking fascist cop makes him. Is a good reason.
Yeah. It's a pretty good reason. Now, he still does. Now also, it gives us a reason why he can't go to school with him, which is he's got to finish building this fucking Christ statue.
Now, he's finishing. Okay, so Pinocchio sets his feet on fire because Candlewick tricks him into doing it. And, they put him out. The fascist goes home. Geppetto has to have a big morning the next day because he has to first make Pinocchio some feet, then take him into town to fix up this Christ figure, and then send him off to school. Earlier this day, Pinocchio had lied. They have a lot more fun with the lying bit in this movie than in the original. Pinocchio lied and his nose grew, and he asks why that happened. And the thing is that Geppetto has an explanation from a different fairy tale, because it's something he told Carlo. Mm-hmm. And he was like, a lie grows to become plain on your face, plain to everybody but you, or something like that. And Pinocchio seems to inherently know this. There is a bit in this film that I don't think is ever properly paid off. But Pinocchio has some of Carlo's memories. And the death fairy that he meets says that he has a borrowed soul. It's very clear over the course of this film that Pinocchio is not Carlo. That's part of it. But he kind of is.
There is a bit of Carlo in him, right? Mm-hmm.
So the next day, he's got his new feet, which is a mirror of Carlo, of Geppetto making Carlo some shoes. The day after that did not go great for him, but today goes slightly better.
Today, well, it does, until he sends his fucking kid off to school. He is interrupted by Count Volpe and...
Spazzatura, the monkey.
Spazzatura, the monkey, who is voiced by Cate Blanchett.
There are a lot of good voices in this one. I'm just going to say this now so I don't forget it later. Benito Mussolini is Tom Kenny.
Yeah, yes, he is.
It just like that warms my heart a bit.
You have to that must have been one of the shortest phone calls in the history of time. It's like, hey Tom, it's Guillermo del Toro. Do you want to voice Mussolini in my Pinocchio movie? Do I ever? Hell yeah, brother. So yeah, the Count Volpe is like he's like a carnival owner. He is a replacement for both the like trickster fox and cat characters, and also the kind of sort of racist like Italian character, right? He's like a combination of them.
I think just a bit of the other guy, because I think he's supposed to look like the devil.
Oh, right. He does look a bit like the coachman. Yeah,
the coachman. So, like, he's carrying a lot of villainy in this production.
He has a big Count Olaf hairstyle.
He super does. Count Olaf could have totally had a pet monkey that he was abusive to.
They convince Pinocchio, hey, you can be a little late to school. Mm-hmm. I'll give you all the popcorn, candy, and hot chocolate you want. This is what really buys Pinocchio in, because Pinocchio's just discovered that he loves hot chocolate.
Yes, he does. The thing that this movie does really well is Pinocchio is still an innocent.
Right.
Right? He is not the Pinocchio of the original book who's a little shit, and needs to learn how to not be a little shit all the time. But who's
inherently evil, as all children are.
But he is also not the Pinocchio of the Disney movie, who is a pure innocent who is tricked into all this stuff. He is the comfortable middle ground of a good kid who is, like kids are, also a greedy little shit.
And very stupid. Because he doesn't know anything.
Because he doesn't know anything. But the thing that convinces him isn't that he's gonna make his dad proud or like make a lot of money or like he's not convinced this is the right thing to do. He is convinced that it's okay to do a wrong thing for a little while because he's gonna get hot chocolate.
Right.
And then he can go to school a little late. Nobody will even worry about it, you know.
Jiminy Cricket's putting up a fight.
He's working so hard
to not let him get away with this. And unfortunately, he is defeated by a book, which all crickets are eventually.
The monkey gets him. It took a long time for me to. It was after the scene. It wasn't until the scene where he actually finally talks to Geppetto and Geppetto responds that I was like, okay, everybody can hear the cricket.
The cricket is not magical. He is simply a talking cricket.
Because I was like, is this monkey just trying to kill a cricket?
They whisk Pinocchio away to perform. Geppetto doesn't find out about this until Daddy Gestapo shows up and is like, hey, I heard your son didn't go to school today, you little shit.
Apparently, by the way, he is a podesta.
Oh, okay. So that's their name for it.
Which is yes, this is the Italian name.
It's like police officer.
Yeah, it was like a chief magistrate, but then during explicitly the fascist era, it got it was just folded in as part of the regime, and now they don't have them anymore because of democracy. Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
So yeah, he comes in, he's like, your son didn't go to school. And he's like, I sent him to school with the book that I gave the son that I love more. So like, he should be good. He finds the book first and is very upset because it's been ruined. And then finds Sebastian crushed under it, who tells him where he went. This is also something that I like a lot more in this movie, is Geppetto goes and gets his kid.
He goes and gets him.
He goes and he gets him and he drags him out of there. There's not, I don't think, much to say about this first performance. It's fine. There's like there's a devil character who's called Diablo, who I do like. It's not a character, it's just a puppet. Pinocchio seems to not quite understand that Spazzatura is also the puppets.
Yeah.
So he's dragged out of there, but then Count Volpe tries to grab Pinocchio back, and he is eventually flung into the street and hit by a truck. It's specifically
not just any truck
driven by this fascist asshole. And he's like, he came right out in front of me. That's what happens when kids don't listen. And like, dude, you suck.
Immediately, he is like, this is why we need more authority.
It sucks so bad, because here's the thing, it wasn't his fault. Somebody did throw a child in front of his truck, but the fact that he gets so defensive about it, you're like, okay, well, this guy's like irredeemable.
Yeah,
this is a monster.
This is not the first time he's hit a kid with his truck,
right.
For sure. And Pinocchio dies. He fucking eats it. He's dead as hell.
Graveyard dead.
And he gets to go to death, the death zone,
where there are a bunch of rabbits.
Right.
It's not okay.
So what's going on here? I hear you asking.
I don't like. We don't have Guillermo del Toro on the line
to ask him
like why specifically this imagery. But there are a bunch of rabbits who I guess carry off dead people in coffins, lay them in a big
pile.
Yeah, but like standing up, so like a wall, like maybe a whole building of them.
Yeah.
And then just sit around and play poker when there's nothing to do.
Yep.
And Pinocchio bursts out, and they're like, hey, you're dead. And he's like, yeah, but it's boring in there. I don't think I like being dead. So he has to go see the character who I guess we'll refer to as Death, because that makes sense.
Right.
Who says she's the sister of the Blue Fairy, or the Blue Fairy is her sister, and looks like a demon version of the angel Blue Fairy. Not necessarily evil, but like has horns instead of wings kind of thing. Still lots of eyeballs.
She's a sphinx. Oh, real quick. The rabbits are based on something from the book.
Wild. Okay.
In the book, the fairy has like a group of like Undertaker rabbits.
Why?
That she calls in to take Pinocchio to the graveyard when he refuses to take his medicine. And again, and I read this and I go, fuck, man, I do think I need to read this original book.
I mean,
it sounds wild.
What it sounds to me is so bad. That is like so heavy-handed. It is shocking to me that Pinocchio has managed to become like a cultural phenomenon, because like how? When it was based off of this garbage.
Yeah, you know, sometimes it takes, I think the same thing about The Little Mermaid, because I fucking hate Hans Christian Andersen. He's a hack. Terrible writer, terrible everything.
He stays with other authors without telling him he's gonna do that, and overstays his welcome by quite a long time.
And that's not even getting into the fact that he's a bad writer.
That's just like the one thing I know about Hans Christian Andersen, besides, yes, how The Little Mermaid is a very weird story.
Awful. It's genuinely awful. So Death explains to us the rules. And the rules are pretty simple. Pinocchio can't die completely because he's not a real boy. Yeah.
The explanation for this is because he has been given life, but is something that was never supposed to be alive. The life cannot be like taken away from him like it can with a regular person. So he's just he's just stuck returning to limbo over and over, and each time it'll take a little bit longer. This is represented by hourglasses. The hourglasses keep getting bigger. And so he's like, oh, that's great. I don't have to die. And she's like, okay, like, all right. And then he wakes up.
I love this doctor doing all the doctor things.
This doctor is maybe the best character in the film. He's like, no pulse. He says there's nothing we can do. He's gone rigid.
There's nothing we can do. He's gone rigid.
And Geppetto's like, he's a puppet. He's rigid.
He's made of wood. I don't think you're really trying very hard, Doc. And it's like, well, Geppetto, what the fuck is he supposed to do?
He's like, you're a fucking quack.
This is so far out of his expertise.
But then Pinocchio does wake up. But this is the thing. I want to highlight here. Because I thought when he went to church and everybody freaked out, there was going to be a net negative idea about Pinocchio. But everybody is happy that he's alive. Everybody in this room, including people who don't have a reason to give a shit about him, are like, oh my god, it's a miracle.
It's a miracle. Those two women crossed themselves.
Yeah.
But I got the person who is the happiest to see him alive is this fucking little fascist man who's like, oh my god, he's immortal.
The puppet's immortal.
The puppet's immortal. And immediately he's like, we need to send him off to boot camp. He needs to fight in war for us.
I gotta be clear, because first Count Volpe is like, he signed a contract. Right. You owe me a ridiculous amount of money. This contract was not notarized. Yeah, right, dude. Like, I could get this struck down immediately. And then the Gestapo, which is, I think, what we have to call him, because I've already forgotten the word that I looked up.
Podesta.
It's like, no. He needs to fight in our wars. This boy's an immortal soldier. And Geppetto's like, that's great. We'll talk about all of this tomorrow. And like, drags him out of there. Which, that is such a fucking bold move from Geppetto. Later.
Yeah.
Candlewick will call Geppetto a coward, and I think this just shows how little Candlewick knows about the world, because Geppetto's the bravest man I've ever seen.
This guy has, like, militant authority over his life. He could just pull out a gun and shoot him. And Geppetto's like, let's talk about this tomorrow.
Yeah, he's just like, no, we're not doing this right now. It's been a long day.
It's been too long of a day, because as they're walking home, he's kind of venting a little bit.
Yes.
And Pinocchio kind of, it's like two parts. It's Geppetto being kind of like, what is happening to my life?
Well, Geppetto is worried that he will actually have to owe this Count Volpe money, which again, I think any amount of like, just go ask the local solicitor to like chase this guy out of town. This is nothing.
Right.
But also, even if he gets out from under that, then this fucking fascist wants to take Pinocchio away. And I think that he is worried about this, because he does care for Pinocchio, and that's the difficulty here, which if he didn't, he would have no problems. You know?
Right.
This is the problem you have when you are genuinely worried about your kid.
No, absolutely. But it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, when again, this is very like a very human thing. Like, he doesn't express that very well.
Yes. He specifically calls Pinocchio a burden, which is one of the few complicated words that Pinocchio knows, because Sebastian defined it for him earlier.
And he knows that it's a bad thing.
It's a bad thing, yes.
And he's like, and Pinocchio like hits back with like, you wouldn't call Carlo a burden. You need to get over him. Geppetto kind of goes off on him again, like shut up. We're not talking about this. Forbidden territory.
Fair. I mean, this is not a good scene for Geppetto. This is like Geppetto's biggest mistake in the movie is this scene. But like, everything he does is reasonable for this character to be doing. Like, the fact that this argument happens, the fact that he loses it on a child sucks.
Right.
But like, absolutely this could, like, it's been a fucking day.
I mean, it's one of those things where, like, you know, I'm not the kind of person who's like, oh, every story needs to have like a character who goes through an arc.
Mm-hmm.
But like the character in this movie who goes through an arc is Geppetto, right? Like Geppetto is the person who is broken, right? He is the guy, the character that needs to be fixed, right? And like the goal of all of this, like according to the
Blue fairy
angel,
yeah,
is that she hopes that this will do that for him, that it will help him.
Well, and I think even in the very beginning that it does, because the first day, again, the first time he gets like a normal morning with Pinocchio, he is back at his job for the first time in years. He finishes the Christ figure, which had been left undone for, again, we have no idea how long, but definitely long enough for them to build the rest of that roof that got blown in by the bomb, but not for him to finish the crucifix. And I think just having Pinocchio around, I mean, maybe he's just the kind of person who like needs somebody else to take care of, even if the other person he's taking care of is a weird little freak. I think just having Pinocchio around almost instantly put him in a better mind. I mean, he hasn't drunk from a bottle this whole movie since he built Pinocchio.
That's true.
Even though his life got a lot harder. Like, a lot harder
yes.
very quickly.
Very quickly, a lot more complicated. And so Pinocchio is like, I have an idea. I'm going to fix all of this. I don't want him to hate me. I'm going to write him a note explaining to him that
funny.
I've gone to work for the circus and I'll be sending him money to help pay for his fine or whatever.
Right. So Volpe said that he was gonna, I forget that, like a ridiculous amount of money. That if Pinocchio broke his contract,
like 10 million Italian.
Yeah. Again,
gulden
like
or
lira
whatever.
or something. This piece of shit. This would not hold up in court.
Yeah.
But
10 million New York pizzas.
But he basically during this argument that Pinocchio has with Geppetto, Pinocchio is trying to fix it. He's like, then I'll just go to war. Like the one guy wants me to. I bet war is fun. And Geppetto's like, war is not fucking fun.
War is sucks and is bad and is the thing that killed my son, and I'm not going to let that happen again.
You are not going to war. End of story. So Pinocchio's like, okay, if I go work for Volpe, then I won't be going to war, and some money can be sent home to Geppetto.
It's a win-win.
Here's the crazy thing about this plan. Obviously, I know Volpe's full of shit. Definitely, he's not sending any money home. But half of this plan full-on works.
Yeah, not only does Pinocchio not go to war,
he becomes like the voice of
propaganda,
of this fascist movement. He is convincing children that, like, you know, Italy is powerful and Italy's gonna take on the world type shit in his little song and dances.
He is like more famous than Jesus.
Yeah.
He becomes like Beatles famous. And Geppetto wakes up and immediately starts to apologize.
Yeah, he's like, oh, Pinocchio, I just wanted to say, and he's gone. He goes downstairs and Sebastian's trapped under a cup. No, excuse me, Sebastian almost got himself killed again. He keeps getting crushed.
Earlier I said that Pinocchio was going to write Geppetto a note. Pinocchio doesn't know how to write. So what he does is he traps Sebastian under a fucking cup. It's like, you're my note, you piece of shit. Tell him I love him.
Which is very clever for Pinocchio. You know, he didn't have a lot of time to learn how to be clever, but he kind of managed it. So,
yeah, he's figuring it out.
So Sebastian tells Geppetto what Pinocchio is doing, and they go to find him, and of course Volpe is gone. But Geppetto finds the tour list. And so for the rest of the movie, they will be following Pinocchio on tour and keep just missing him.
And I assume also becoming the best of friends. Like, yeah, they're having like a buddy comedy movie. The saddest buddy comedy movie.
The saddest, there's again, I must wait until the scene happens to say it. To say the thing that I think really shows you how close they've gotten. But they when they go to find Pinocchio to try to look for him, this is when Sebastian fucking goes off on him.
He loses it at Geppetto.
He's like, oh, now you want to find him. Yesterday he was a burden. How can you do this to your son?
How could you say that to a child?
And he's right, but Geppetto's not even listening because he's like, we're gonna go find him right the fuck now. And Sebastian's like, yeah, absolutely, ride or die. So then we get kind of a montage of Pinocchio doing, I would say, more and more war propaganda shows.
Because it starts off with him just singing about how he misses his dad.
Yes, and then it seems like that scene becomes, or that song becomes sort of an anthem for going off to war. Goodbye, parent, I'm going to war. And it comes between that and all the different modes of transportation that Geppetto and Sebastian are taking to try to get to him. And then I think the first real scene we get to, we learn that Mussolini is going to be at the next show. That's the next big show.
El Duce.
And we learn that Spazzatura is becoming jealous of Pinocchio because Pinocchio is getting a lot of attention from Volpe. And Spazzatura tries to convince, through the puppets, which can talk, but Spazzatura can't, which is confusing. He tells them through the puppets that, there's no money being sent home. This guy's lying to you. Spazzatura is his real favorite. At least two of those things are probably true. I mean, at least two of those things are true, and the third one might be.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Then we see the next scene. Volpe is kicking the shit out of Spazzatura, and Pinocchio gets between them and starts arguing with him, trying to fight back, and Volpe's like, you don't understand. You are working for me until you're firewood, basically. Essentially a mirror of what happens again in Disney's Pinocchio. You don't get to make demands of me. But he does stop kicking the shit out of Spazzatura. So, points.
And now we've gotten a trauma bond, right?
Yes.
Between Spazzatura and Pinocchio. This is the kind of bonds that once you forge them, they're immortal.
Well, it's because they're both going through it. It's before Spazzatura was jealous that Pinocchio was getting preferred treatment, but now that everything's out in the open, now there's no reason to be jealous anymore. This just sucks for both of them.
Right.
And so Pinocchio cooks up a plan. It is a very short-sighted plan, and a plan that I think a kid would come up with, which is to insult Mussolini a lot during the Mussolini show for Mussolini.
Correct.
And because he is a child, he just kind of sings about poop a lot. And this obviously ruins Volpe's whole deal, and Pinocchio gets shot in the head. Which the funniest smash cut, I think. and the fact that this movie gets away with it twice in earnest and then a third time in sadness. Yeah.
Is great, but he just pops out of that coffin that's what it's like being me.
He is shot, and it's the force of that shot blows him out of that coffin.
It's awesome. It's so good.
And all the rabbits are oh, this guy's back. But he's no, that went great, guys. You wouldn't even believe it. And he goes to see death.
You wish I would stop and tell you about how cool I was.
That was awesome. And when he wakes up, he is back with the Podesta, who's
Oh, who was there?
I fucking knew you weren't dead. Yes, he was there, and so was Candlewick. It seemed like he was taking the kids from, let's call it Pleasure Island, the like military, the child military base
camp.
That he runs. Yeah, the child military
camp.
It seems like he was taking them on a little field trip to see this show. Maybe because Mussolini was there, and maybe because it's propaganda and he likes that. I don't know which, or both. Heck, maybe he was trying to fucking scout out Pinocchio, because he was not allowed to take Pinocchio before. He's right there.
And he's just like, I knew you wouldn't die. You're going to be my favorite soldier.
Yes. I think he says that most of us only have one life to give for the motherland. Classic.
The fatherland.
My God, he does call it a fatherland. There's a big father thing in this.
Yeah, this movie's really leaning into the dad stuff.
I think was very clear, the way we've been talking about it. A lot of dads. We don't see a lot of moms. We see Candlewick's mom like twice. So she like gives him a scarf. We don't know.
She gives him a scarf, and she's in the car when they hit Pinocchio.
Yeah, but she doesn't have any lines.
No.
She does call it a miracle when he comes back to life. So maybe she's just glad that they're not going to get sued.
Right.
So, meanwhile, let's cut for a second, because Tom Kenny played another character, by the way.
Yes.
Which was a sea captain who told Geppetto that I forget what it was, if it was like a strait or something, but he's like, that water that's not the sea, that's a graveyard. And Geppetto just says something like, oh dear. And it turns out, even though this water is full ass covered in mines up and down the water, the problem is the massive dogfish that can eat whole ships. And I only say dogfish specifically because they say it specifically, and a dogfish is a shark, but this is clearly a whale. I'm just saying it because I don't like that I don't like that they made it a dogfish, but also kept it a whale. It's not a big deal. It just kind of irked me.
They made it look like an anglerfish.
They did, but then they gave it a blowhole. I don't know. So
yeah, it's definitely odd. It doesn't look like any fucking fish or whale I've ever seen.
Right.
I think this was the thing made by the Jim Henson Company also, was this fucking thing.
That would make sense. The Jim Henson Company is surprisingly good at making gross shit.
If you make a Muppet and it's cute, you cover it in Vaseline, it's a monster.
Sorry, this guy gets a great moment where he just like jumps off the side of the boat.
He fucking arrivederci's this motherfucker.
And he just whoop, and then just leans over the side and he's gone. And then they get eaten by the dogfish. And then I think that Mussolini scene happens. And then we cut back to them, and they catch. It seems like Sebastian is being bait, and they catch they catch a fish. And then here's my favorite Sebastian line. They're like celebrating, like, yeah, we're gonna have dinner tonight. And then the scene's panning out. We're fading away from it, and Sebastian just goes, "We're so lucky." It's like a perfect scene.
They're so close. They are so tight.
Yeah.
At this point. And again, I cannot stress enough, in Disney's Pinocchio, like, Geppetto has no fucking clue that Jiminy Cricket exists. Pinocchio gets taken to this like little Nazi boot camp. He immediately becomes fast friends with Candlewick.
They have like an interesting, like, sort of, Candlewick and Pinocchio are set up like they're going to be rivals. They have been for the whole movie, but every actual interaction they have is actually very friendly. And it's very, like, sweet, and this is such an interesting, like, sad take on Pleasure Island. This whole thing is trying to turn them into monsters, essentially.
Right.
And they're like inherent kidness, which is usually what is getting Pinocchio into trouble, is like kind of keeping them safe. Because they just want to be friends.
It reminds me a lot of Jojo Rabbit in that way. of like the effort it takes to do this to a child, right? And obviously Jojo Rabbit is like all about that and
Right.
it's about nothing else, whereas this movie just kind of touches on it, like the more work needs to be done to get this inherent.
The first time I watched this, I was like, it's so weird that we just spend some time in a Nazi boot camp and then move on to the next thing. Now, because I'm just coming off of like watching everybody turn to donkeys and one of the most horrific animated scenes that exists, I'm like, no, this makes sense.
No. Yeah, it's stepping stone to the next thing.
Yes.
They do this like training game that's supposed to be like a zero-sum game, but Pinocchio and Candlewick like end up tying on purpose.
Right, on purpose, but it also seems like they literally did tie. Like they were fighting over these flags, or they're supposed to capture the flag from the other. Each of them got the other's flag. That is a tie. If he didn't want this to happen, he should have designed this war game better.
Correct. He did a bad job.
Yeah.
There are things you can do to make it zero-sum. And in fact, he does. Because he's like, oh, cool, you tied? Shoot the puppet.
Yeah.
I gotta be real with you. I like to think that I'm a brave guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would have shot Pinocchio. I know he can't die.
It is inherently kind of the cowardly move. It is like the way out of this situation. However, I think that my understanding of the consequences would make me, absolutely shoot Pinocchio. But Candlewick, strangely ride or die for this kid, who again can't die, is like, no, I'm not gonna do that. That's crazy.
That's wrong.
Like, what? And he's like, and his father's like, you're a coward. And he's like, I'm standing up to you.
Right. And that's infinitely scarier.
Yeah, like, what, am I just gonna follow orders?
And then
there's a bit earlier, I don't remember exactly what Pinocchio says. But Pinocchio says something to him, where he, to the Podesta, where he's like, are you afraid? And I was like, I think he fucking is.
Right.
And I feel like this highlights it. Yeah, and then, so, this was set up, but it's fully crazy. This guy is training children, and he knew that there had been planes sighted nearby, and he continues the training, instead of getting them into, like, a shelter, which they should have. Because even if he wants these kids to be brave, they have to be fucking alive.
Right. And you know, to be fair, the dramatic irony is that I'm confused as to what this fucking guy's plan is. Because at first I'm like, is he gonna shoot his son? Or is he gonna shoot Pinocchio? Or is Pinocchio gonna take the bullet for his son?
I think he was planning on shooting Pinocchio. I think he was planning on shooting Pinocchio because he doesn't want to kill his son. He wants his son to become him. And he thinks that following through with this will do it. I don't see how it would, but, like, I can think things through, and I don't think this asshole can.
And instead, Candlewick kills his dad. Now, that's not what happens.
Right? But it's kind of what happens.
Candlewick shoots his dad in the eye with paint, which... already awful. That sucks.
Get him.
And then he gets tangled up in one of the these jungle gym nets that he had the kids climbing on earlier. And then a bomb drops on him and he died. He's dead.
He's dead.
That is going to be the first of two full on deaths.
And Candlewick is much more worried about Pinocchio.
And to be fair, same, bro, because Pinocchio goes flying.
Yeah, Pinocchio lands on a cliff outside of the military camp. So what is not clear to me, and I think it's supposed to be not clear, I don't know if the kids live or not. And I think
those kids are being given gas masks and guns in the middle of this scene. They did not make it.
Well, I think your takeaway is supposed to be like, oh, you're not gonna know. You're not gonna know what happened because you don't get to know what happened to the kids from Pleasure Island. Like,
this
is just a terrible thing that happened, and then the story has to move on. Like,
we have to move on.
You can't.
Can I tell you something?
You don't get, like, a memorial, and you don't get, like, oh, here's Candlewick at the end. It's just like, maybe. Like, who knows what happened? Yeah, sorry, what were you gonna say?
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look this up just to be sure. First, Candlewick's real name is Romeo, which is really funny.
Okay.
In the story, in the book, Pinocchio meets Candlewick again.
Wild. As a donkey?
Yes, because he starts working for a farmer.
Oh my god.
To make money. And then the farmer tells him, I'm so glad that you came along because my old donkey that used to do this is dying. And Pinocchio's like, what? Where? And he runs to the donkey and he's like, what's your name? And the donkey's like, Candlewick. And then he dies.
Yeah, man, this book sounds so bad.
And then the owner's like, why are you crying about it over a dead donkey? And Pinocchio's like, I went to school with him. And the owner's like, that's ridiculous. Get back to work. Dude, it's fucking insane. It's crazy. Okay. That becomes this scene. Where, like you said, we don't get to know what happens to Candlewick. We don't get to know what happens to any of these kids.
To any of the boys, yeah.
But what we do know, we do get to know what happens to fucking Count Volpe, because he's here.
Yeah.
Somehow, Count Volpe has returned.
By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
This motherfucker should have been strung up. Right.
The fact that he survived what had to have been a very violent dismantling of his circus.
Right.
I mean, good for him. I mean, well, not great for him because he's not going to survive this next bit.
No, he's not going to survive this next bit. So he's like, he crucifies Pinocchio. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm going to set you on fire.
Now, here's the thing.
I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. I don't know the rules. I was only given a brief layout of the rules. I would be very concerned if I were Pinocchio that being set on fire would mean when I came back I would be charcoal. Like, that sounds bad. That sounds not right.
Correct. I would be ash floating in the wind.
Yeah, that being unable to die and also not having a body seems not good. That seems bad. Maybe I'm wrong that wouldn't happen, but I might not be. So this seems bad in any case. While he is being burned at the stake, Spazzatura finally turns on Volpe, and the takeaway is that all three of them fall off this cliff into the ocean, and Volpe fucking dies.
Only two of them land in the ocean.
Yeah.
Volpe lands on a rock and immediately dies, and I was like, oh! Because that's on screen. You see it. It's only like a frame, but you see it.
Look, the man earned it. This movie,
he did.
A brief spoiler for my final thoughts on this movie. This movie is another movie that I'm not sure I'd show a kid. This is a good movie. I really enjoy it. I don't know that I would want to show it to a child just because of
I think you could
visuals.
show it I think you could show it to a younger teen. Like someone who's 12, 13.
They might appreciate it more than they would the 1940s Pinocchio, which was, I think, our problem. 1940s Pinocchio has too much stuff for little kids and then is too wild. But this one's just kind of wild.
Guillermo del Toro has, I think, that, what I would call, Invader Zim energy. That, teens really vibe with. So that motherfucker dies.
The legacy of this podcast is going to be, that's going to become the normal way to talk about Guillermo del Toro.
He'd be honored, I bet. They get eaten by the dogfish, and Pinocchio is finally reunited with Geppetto, and and Sebastian. How do you feel about them escaping from the dogfish? Because I was a little bit let down by it, but I thought it was good.
I think about the same. I mean, honestly, it was very distracting to me that they gave him a blowhole, which but during our last episode, we talked about how there was a movie, and it might have been the movie that I sent you that picture of with, who was it? It wasn't Haley Joel Osment, was it?
No, it was the other one. It was the one from Home Improvement. It was that other child actor from the 90s.
With three names. Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
It might have been the Jonathan Taylor Thomas one, where, because I'm fairly certain I actually saw that as a kid. I only remember it as a VHS cover, which is how I remember most movies from when I was a kid.
A truly horrifying VHS cover.
Mm-hmm. So, where, like, again, it might have been that, where he tells a bunch of lies and his nose grows enough to prop open the whale's mouth. This one, they do it slightly differently, which is there's a lighthouse that this whale has eaten, which I do like that as a prop. It's very cool. It's like working lighthouse.
The lighthouse in the whale, or in the dogfish, is so, it's like, again, it's the kind of maneuver that only Guillermo del Toro would do, where you'd be like, you know what would be really funny is if this thing ate a lighthouse.
A whole lighthouse.
A whole lighthouse.
So he tells a bunch of lies because when they're at the top of the lighthouse, if he uses his super long branch nose, they can climb over to the blowhole, which is kind of in the side of the dogfish. I don't know why there's a blowhole. They keep talking about this dogfish like it's a fish. Like, Geppetto even says that, like, oh, it only comes up to feel the sun every 10 years. So, like, it's gonna swim to the bottom of the ocean, that's gonna be fucking it for us.
Right.
So it's not a whale. Okay, it shouldn't need to breathe air.
It's definitely some fucking thing. But they have to escape from a blowhole, I think, because that's what the Disney movie does.
No, I think the Disney movie, they escape from the mouth. They make it sneeze, but it sneezes out of its mouth.
Oh, right, they blow smoke through the blowhole.
Yeah.
But in this, Sebastian's like, we should just climb out of the blowhole.
I mean, it's not terrible. Again, just the fact that it was a fish that had a blowhole was very distracting just to me, a person who's kind of pedantic.
I definitely wish that they had just been like we could escape out of that, whatever the fuck that is.
Right. I like using Pinocchio's nose as a prop. I
wish Pinocchio came up with the idea. That's like my only thing.
I liked it all okay. I do think it could have been a little bit stronger. I didn't hate it, you know?
I think the big thing for me that makes it work, even with all my problems, is the fact that, like, there is an amount of, like, Pinocchio has to do this thing that he's been told is wrong, right?
Right. He's got to lie.
To do the right thing, right?
And he tells...
And I do think it...
What I think is fun is he first tells a lot of big lies, which is like, oh, I hate you, Sebastian. I hate you, Papa. And then he starts just going like, I love war. I want to be in this fish forever.
I think at one point he's like, I love the smell of onions.
Yes.
I think the thing that I like about, I think that's one of those things where I'm like, I think this is a thing that May brought up, which is like the black and white structure of Pinocchio, like, doesn't work, right? Because, like, there are times in a child's life, right, when you have to do things that you've been told are wrong, right? Like, where, like, lying is wrong, but also sometimes you have to lie, right?
Right.
Or even like at the very least not tell the truth. And so for this movie to put Pinocchio in this position of like, do that, we've told you that this is a thing that you shouldn't do, but you have to do it in order to do something that is good, I think is like a fun way of like getting it across to kids that like all of these rules that you have come with exceptions. Right? Like nothing is black and white in that way. Because you never know when you're going to be trapped in a whale and you have to lie to get out.
Yeah. It could happen.
And I think that's really nice.
It could happen to any of us.
It could happen. It could happen to you. It certainly couldn't happen to me. You wouldn't catch me dead on a fucking boat that far out to sea.
It happened to Guybrush Threepwood, though, which I think says something.
Oh, you mean the famous pirate who can hold his breath for 10 minutes?
Yeah, that's how
exactly 10 minutes. Probably the best joke in all of video games.
There was another very similar style joke that I like. I'm cutting this, which is there is a there is a series of online video games called Adventure Quest, and in Adventure Quest, they just didn't worry about what you were doing in the water. They're like, whatever, you can breathe in water, and they made a prequel one where during a quest you accidentally drop like a ton of water breathing potions in the water.
Oh, and that's fun.
And then it's just like, so from now on, everybody can just breathe in water.
So cool. That's fun.
Yeah, which I think is a good bit. They get sneezed out of the whale. They almost die, but they don't, so that's good. And the dogfish, the terrible dogfish, is chasing them down, but Pinocchio climbs onto a mine, which at first I thought he didn't know what that was, but it turns out he did know what that was, and was just very blasé about climbing on a mine. And the whale eats the mine, and it's like hanging on its tooth.
Right.
So Pinocchio does kind of a self-sacrifice.
He does the heroic sacrifice.
But he, I guess, didn't expect it to kill him. Because he shows up in the afterlife and he's like, fuck!
No, you have to let me go back now. I
don't have time for this.
I don't necessarily think that he didn't. It's not that he didn't expect it to kill him so much as he was like, fuck, wait, I'm not done.
So he gets blown up, but Geppetto is like on the verge of drowning when Pinocchio dies. And the fucking cricket can't save him. So
the monkey can't save him. He's a grown-ass man.
Yeah. So Pinocchio like rushes in to the chamber with Death, and she pulls up a pretty big hourglass. And he's like, no, I can't do this. I have to go back right now.
Now.
Or my papa will die. And she's like, there are rules. I can't break the rules. You can break the rules, but there are consequences. And you will, the next time you die, that'll just be it. And he's like, fine, that's great, good. And he breaks the hourglass, and he comes back. Now, here's my only issue with this setup. I do think it works for a story. I don't think it makes much internal logical sense. Because according to her, because he's not truly alive, he can't truly die. But I guess if he breaks this rule, then he suddenly is truly alive? Which is like, again, it seems kind of arbitrary, but okay. It's necessary for the story to like have the stakes that it has.
Right. Because we gotta make this mean something. When the camera smash cut zooms in on his dead body, it has to feel like something.
When the camera smash cut zooms in, you can't burst out laughing. So Pinocchio is, God, I can't believe that Donkey Candlewick dies in front of Pinocchio on a farm. I can't believe you told me that.
Isn't that crazy?
It's like, that's gonna be in my head now forever.
Dude, it's truly a cursed moment, I think, in children's literature.
Why?
I don't think enough people talk about.
Why would you do that? As a children's writer, was he just trying to give people nightmares? It's not important.
I don't think he thought of himself as a children's writer. I think he just wrote a fucked up story, and people were like, well, it has to be for kids. It's got a talking puppet in it.
I don't know.
And he's like, but hey man, whatever fucking sells this book.
It's such
sure,
a morality
it's for kids.
tale. Anyway, so Pinocchio barely saves Geppetto because he's like two limbs down. Right.
Dude, the scene of him like desperately swimming with his like whatever is left of his arm and leg is like genuinely like,
yeah.
You feel like it's, again, this movie has gone from like, this is the creepiest thing you've ever seen to, oh my god, like, he can't do it. He can't do it.
Not my little boy.
There isn't enough of him left. That's my son.
So he dies in saving his father. Geppetto wakes up and is like, oh, it's okay, Pinocchio, just wake up, come back. And he can't, obviously, and then the blue fairy shows up, and is like, he died as a real boy. And as you know, real boys don't come back.
I'm tearing up, right? But the waterworks don't start until she asks Geppetto, she tells Geppetto, I wanted this to bring you joy.
Yes.
Right? And he responds, and it did. And it has, and it is right now. And that's when, like,
yeah, he calls it
the dam breaks.
He calls it terrible joy, I think he says.
Yeah.
And Sebastian's like, this isn't fair. You can't do this. Like, he should be alive. You said that you get what you give, and he gave everything, and now he's dead. And that's not right. And
that's not fair.
And that's not fair. And she's like, but that's how it works. It's like, no, I have a wish. And she says, well, did you perform your duties? And he's like, I mean, he's like, okay, well,
which if you look at the fine print,
which
no.
I really like that he, unlike fucking Jiminy Cricket, who's like, we did great. You didn't do great, asshole.
You didn't do shit.
He's like,
yeah, you saved him from Pleasure Island. I'll give you that.
He's like, I tried. I tried. And he's a good kid that has to count for something. And then she's like,
that was the deal, was that he ended up good and he did a good thing.
And she's like, okay, what's your wish? She's like, well, I wish I'm back to life, obviously.
Obviously. And I love this ending.
Mm-hmm.
Because this ending is like, only Guillermo del Toro would be brave enough to give us this ending. Because it's so fucked. It is so fucked and so, like, depressing and yet also so, like, happy.
It's like uplifting.
Yeah.
It's like a terrible, sad, uplifting ending. So he outlives... we are told from the voiceover from Sebastian that they all lived together and lived happy lives. And Geppetto got old and died. And then Sebastian got old and died. And then as this is a fucking great cut.
This shot is so good.
As Pinocchio is taking flowers out to his father's grave, we see Spazzatura behind him. Spazzatura's old. He's got like a little cane. And then Spazzatura isn't behind him anymore, and he's putting flowers on Spazzatura's grave. It's fucking good.
This fucking monkey. I cried because this fucking monkey died.
And
I can't believe that.
And Sebastian's like, I haven't heard from him in a while, but I think he's doing well, and I think he will die again, and maybe he'll come back, or maybe he won't, because he's real.
Right, because he's a real boy.
Because he's a real boy, and that's all that is. And then it turns out that he has been telling all this story to the rabbits. Now, according to this Wikipedia article that I've been using that really bastardizes this story and takes out a lot of the important context, Pinocchio, quote, outlives them all and decides to travel the world to find his own place in life. Now, fine. Technically, yes. I took this ending to mean that Sebastian is also in a death loop of some kind. Mostly because...
Oh, because...
I feel like I saw him die a lot. Like, Sebastian gets crushed like 30 fucking times in this movie.
I think we take it. I think we're supposed to take it that he has passed, like truly passed.
Okay.
I will say.
I mean, you might be right. I don't think you're supposed to be able to come out though.
The words "find his own place in life" I disagree with, because he found his own place. His place was with Geppetto, Sebastian, and Spazzatura.
He can find another place though, Andy.
But he's not going out in the world to find his own place in life. He's just going out in the world to see it.
Maybe.
Right? Like I don't know. I disagree with this. The addition of this sentence makes it sound like this movie's about Pinocchio, like, being accepted, when it's like, it's not really about Pinocchio. It's about Geppetto. There's a moment earlier in the film where Pinocchio points at the Jesus and is like, why do they like him even though he's made of wood, and they don't like me?
Yes.
And Geppetto says, because people are afraid of things that they can't explain or understand. Give them time and they will accept you. And over the course of the film, Pinocchio is accepted. He becomes, like, super famous. But that's not the point, right? It's not acceptance, right? It's ultimately, it's like the love of family, right? It's the love of people loving him, not because he's this famous puppet, but as a real boy, which he is, even though he's a talking immortal wooden thing like monstrosity. He's a real boy. He's a child.
He can be two things.
He can be both of those things. Anyway, great flick. I really liked it.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. Again, I liked it a lot better after watching Disney's Pinocchio again. Because I feel like
it hits different.
I feel like it puts a lot of the scenes into important context. I feel like, especially the whole, like, Pleasure Island scene, because of how it hits in the original Pinocchio, hits so different and interestingly when you watch this after it.
It definitely, as a pairing, is, like, elevated by the direct comparison.
This might be our best paired movie. Particularly one that's not an actual sequel. Right.
I can only hope that the streak continues, because we are in the summer of the puppet.
Okay.
The summer of the puppet. And
if you want a musical sting, you're providing it.
I'm gonna be real with you. I'm just kind of really hungry right now, so I'm like, we gotta wrap this up.
Yeah, actually. That's fine. What's the next movie in our summer of the puppet?
The next movie is the 2000 television film Geppetto.
Oh, we are doing Geppetto. Okay.
Yeah, are we not?
No, I mean,
that's not the plan.
That's good. Yeah, that's fine. I genuinely don't know how Drew Carey can act, and I'm excited to find out. Because I know he can act in a sitcom.
And with Julia Louis-Dreyfus as the Blue Fairy,
yes,
this is going to be a wild time. Oh my God, Brent Spiner is in it?
Okay. Thank you for listening to Direct to Video. VHS?
VHS.
I've been your host, Tony Robusto.
I've been your host, Andy Reyes.
You can find me at inspiredbytrueevents.org, and you can email the podcast at mail@direct2.video, because I'm getting a lot of email. I'm getting relatively a lot of email for this, and it is mostly junk. People trying to sell us stuff.
Yeah, you can find me. On. Actually, I'm not on any social media right now.
Great,
because I'm fucking chicken pilled, dude. You can find me outside, hanging out with my chickens. And you can also find me here at Direct to Video. And, maybe in the future I'll get back on.
And thank you to Scott Buckley for Homeward. I am the ghost of John Smith.
And I'm a real boy.
That was specifically Shrek Pinocchio. I don't know if you meant to do that.
I didn't. I was just trying. I was like, what's child?
It sounded exactly.
I don't think I have. I'm I don't think I've been able to do the voice that Pinocchio does in this movie since I was 6. So I did my best.
Okay, you cut out again.
I explained. I explained.
I cannot
Sebastian
hear you
is
at the
no.
moment. I'm just saying it out
Can you
loud.
hear me
I'm sure
now?
you'll cut back in a second, but
Now.
Hmm.
Now.
Oh, that didn't do it. I saw you put your microphone on mute for a second, and it changed nothing for me. I mean, I heard that.
How did you hear that? Can you still not hear me?
This will be great. You communicate just through sound effects. The cricket means Sebastian, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I hear you now. Oh, you're gone.
Did that work?
That did work.
Okay. I said now like 30 times.
Sorry.
Expecting it to be the time.
One of them's
Okay.
going to be the time.